Howdy, howdy. This is Christian Blaney's Cockpit, and I am chilling right now. Let's see, what should I start this off with? Sorry if you really like Persuasion by Santana. I know I've interrupted it a couple times, but I guess this is my my show slot. That's a weird mixture of words, isn't it? This is my show slot, and and I'm going to be doing my radio show. It's going to be about an hour long. It's just a talk radio show about whatever I, Christian Blaney, the host, want to talk about with a guest and whoever will be on. And it's just kind of a fun time listening to a conversation. So my guest today is my friend George Ghanem. He's a junior at the college, at Principia College, majoring in biology. Do you have a minor?
No.
Okay. Hang on. There it is. Majoring in biology. He's earned the varsity League of Legends team, and additionally, he was my first roommate in college. He's become a good friend of mine between then and now. So please welcome George Ghanem, and thanks for being on, man.
Thank you.
So you asked me what we should talk about first, and it's a good question. There's a couple things. Like, I'm interested in the Amazon workers' right. Do you know anything about that? Are you?
I mean, I know about like the push to push a minimum wage to $15 an hour.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about that?
I mean, I think sure. Like there was a push a few years ago to push it to $10 an hour, right? Or
yeah.
Maybe that was like in 2010 or something.
It was a while ago, but yeah, it seems like there's a resurgence because of the constant the growing demand, I guess, from large corporations to push the regular worker to do just more than they feel is comfortable.
It makes complete sense, and I feel like a livable wage is at least a basic right for any job. So.
Sure. Do you I guess the pushback to that from a lot of people would be, well, you shouldn't be starting out in a job that you don't have to move from. Like, a lot of people think it de-incentivizes, I guess, progress and growth, because like if you're in a poverty kind of situation or you're not making any money, you'd be more interested in moving up. Like, that's the American dream. And I don't think that's the case anymore. I think there's a lot less like upward mobility in society. The UN just a year ago published I think it was an update. I think it was officially called an update, but it was saying something along the lines of low wage jobs and dead end lives are becoming a huge issue worldwide. And so,
yeah,
it's sad, man.
Yeah, it's depressing. And that's kind of like that's why people go to college, so that they don't have to like do that.
Yeah, exactly.
But even people that go to college sometimes fall into that trap.
Yeah, it's interesting because everyone has a bachelor's degree, right? Not everyone, but a large percent of the population, because it was so stressed on the previous generation to make sure their kids go to college.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
We'll see how it goes.
We'll see how it goes. That's all we can do.
Yeah.
It's tough. I was talking to someone yesterday about like what we can do to make these changes, because I'm furious that Senate doesn't have term limits, that they can just stay in power forever, and that political lobbying is legal. Like, they don't have to go through any back doors. They just lobby to politicians, and it bothers me a lot. And so that's like one of the basic things I can see where like society, or at least the system that we have in America, is broken, and that's like a very, very clear way to fix it. I don't know anyone that's against Senate limits. I don't know anyone that is, I don't know that anyone that is for some. Dude, my brain is so clogged.
No, I understand what.
Yeah, I don't see anyone against my position on these things.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
But also, the people around you are more likely to agree with you than they are to disagree with you.
It's possible, but
I don't know what type of who you're talking to. So
yeah, sure. No, I understand. I've talked about the subject of Senate limits with people from Massachusetts, from Maryland, both rural and city, from around here, and that means coming from everywhere, because we're in the middle of the country, and a campus that's united by a religion and not by a locality.
Yeah.
So it seems pretty widespread. You feel me?
Yeah.
So, what do you think like about that kind of thing? And do you see anything else that I could add to my list of very basic things that should be changed in the U.S.?
I mean, there's a lot of things that you could add to the list, but I don't know. I think there are a lot of things you could focus on, but sometimes it's better to just focus on a few things. Like, we could look at all the problems in the world and then become overwhelmed, or we could try fixing one at a time. So I think whatever you can do without tearing your hair out.
Yeah,
works.
I feel you. I guess you're right. I think I am trading off like effectiveness in one place for just like knowledge and a bunch of other things. But I think that's just because my role. Like, I feel like eventually I'm going to be getting a lot better at just talking to people on a recorded format, so that maybe I can spread some of these ideas at some point.
Yeah, it's good to talk about them.
Yeah, but other than that, it feels like all I can do is vote locally, and even then, there's absolutely no guarantee that the people that I vote for locally will be coming to a higher or go into a higher place that really cares. It feels like there needs to be a stronger movement from the majority, but I just don't see that happening because we're extremely pacified. I mean, like the main pastime is video games among men, and among women, I think it's polled as Netflix. So,
yeah, definitely pastimes. My pastime is a lot of not doing homework, but the point you said where you said voting locally is important. I agree, but what's surprising is that like the people that vote, most of the people that vote only vote for a presidential election.
I know.
So, and there's so many other positions that are supposed to be voted on, and it's crazy because like the president, out of all the other people that we could be voting for, the president doesn't have like the most power.
Yes, exactly.
And it's crazy how like people think that, and that's all the media focuses on. That's all that anyone focuses on. But like we could be voting for anything else.
Yeah, Board of Education positions. It's funny because the person that we vote on the most is the person that is most influenced by other people. Yeah. So it's
crazy.
It's really backwards, isn't it?
Yeah.
But we know that. We're 20 years old and we know that. And I feel like a lot of it's becoming more and more common for young people to be aware of these situations. And so I'm pretty hopeful that there will be some pretty significant change once some power starts moving and some old people start retiring from government positions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good take though. I think that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
How do you see the future in maybe 10 years? Like, what big things do you see changed? What things do you think would stay the same?
10 years.
Are we going to be in VR by then?
That would be pretty cool.
You think so? Are you for that?
Just us, just like sitting in a chair all day.
Straight up matrixing. Yeah. Full body immersion.
I wouldn't have to worry about anything. I'd just be there, potatoing.
Did you ever read Ready Player One? Or I guess it's a movie now. Did you ever watch it?
I never watched it or read it, but I know a lot of people liked it, or the book at least.
Mm-hmm.
They liked the book.
Yeah, I didn't watch the movie. I haven't seen that yet. I like the book though. I read it when I was on a solo camping for about 5 days down in southern Missouri.
Part of a Christian Science camp, or
for my capstone for high school. Yeah, it was a good book. But it just like I've never been able to shake the thought like, dang, maybe VR like is a very, very slippery slope. You know what I mean?
It probably is, but if we're just saying like if VR is going to be a thing, that I think it's like it definitely will eventually, because it's just a really cool technology.
Yeah.
But I think in 10 years, if we're still here, I feel like there's going to be like some big changes.
Where do you think those are going to be centered around? Do you know?
I don't know. I feel like the world is very stressed right now, and we're definitely moving towards something
less stressful.
I mean, a breaking point maybe, but something has to change, and hopefully without war. But like,
yeah,
I don't know, like there's a lot of tension between countries right now. So
true. Yeah. I mean, I saw a really interesting like segment made from I think some sociologists from the 1960s, and it was like their prediction on how technology is going to look in the future, because they were seeing all these jobs being replaced by robots, and so and like people being able to manipulate these robots with great ability, and so I saw two particular takes that said like people will have to work so much less. The average work week is going to be 3 to 4 days max. People are going to have an average salary of $30,000 a year, and for that time, that was pretty good, because they would have all these machines doing what they need for them, and so I guess it's not. It just didn't turn out that way. You feel me?
Yeah, that's interesting, because the idea that robots will take over your job, it can be seen as a good thing and a bad thing, right? Like, oh, like I work this job where I'm working on a line and I'm on like a conveyor. Or I don't know what you call those jobs, but
yeah, like assembly lines.
And like you're like, oh, this robot's gonna take my job, and like, yeah, sure, the robot's gonna take your job because your job can be easily done by a robot. But maybe it's a good thing in the sense that it pushes people, maybe not you because you're like left behind in that, but you can like go to college and like learn new skills, but it pushes new generations to learn like higher skills, like that can't be as easily done with a robot.
Yeah.
So you can see it as like a progressive thing. That's a good thing, but it does like it does like take jobs, but I don't know, just like a good side and a bad side. Sure.
What do you think about America's culture of hard work being directly correlated with good? So like if you're working hard, if you're putting in like a 60-hour work week, means you're on your grind, and it doesn't and like you can brag about that. You know what I mean?
I mean, I guess it depends. Like what, like the culture around it? Or
yeah,
like
I feel like people are maybe this is just my, like, from what I see, and especially my community back home, but people are more and more obsessed with putting in hours and making money, and less interested in finding passions and hobbies. Like, and if they have one, they have to monetize it, or
that's a good point.
It's not going to be worth their time.
I think some people make money just to make money, and
I agree.
Yeah, there are two sides. One is like, is this what I want to do with my life? Like a passion, and maybe their passion is just making money, but some people are trying to make money to fulfill their passion. So I think the culture, there is definitely a culture around, like, yeah, look how much money I'm making, but I guess it depends on the person to see like what they're trying to do with that money or what they're trying to accomplish. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Sorry, I just started the recording button. I like always forget to press that, so that little guy's watching you. But yeah, I just don't know. I guess I'm in the, like, I ask you just because I just need another perspective. Like, I'm just not sure. I'm not sure if the direction, like, our culture is heading is the right way, and obviously that would be a grand generalization just to say our culture, but I just feel like so many parts of it are weird.
I mean, what's your passion?
I like talking to people, man, and I don't know if it's more of a passion or if I feel like it's a necessity, because I don't feel like people are talking to each other very much. This isn't any huge dog on you and my close friends, but I feel like the majority of pastime is video games, and just there's conversation then, but there's something missing from face to face, where there's tackling the social issues and interest in like a local situation, because at least when I'm on video games, the majority of people that I'm interacting with are people that don't apply to my life, and I don't know. 'Cause I guess I'm looking a lot at like the 50s and 60s and even 70s when people were really interested in unions, and obviously not all of them were effective. Many unions were extremely corrupt, but people were at least interested in what was happening to the local economy or just locality. Seems a lot less stressed. I'm really interested in newspapers. I think that's probably the best way to distribute information among a population, because it's not only saying like, okay, what's going on a grand sale or scale, what's going on at the local drugstore, what companies are struggling, how can we help them out.
Yeah, it's easier to see what's happening around you because like on like the news app, you're only seeing like national or worldwide issues. Yeah, that's an interesting point. I never really thought about that. Because, like, you think newspapers are outdated. Like, why would we need those?
Newspapers and radio. And I think those are the two most important media forms for a good, healthy locality.
Yeah. I mean, like, when was the last time you actually saw someone reading a newspaper? Like, I remember when I was little, my dad would, like, read the newspaper while he was on the toilet. Like, that's a memory I have.
Maybe that's where we should put them. Maybe we should put newspapers near toilets and just have a little pocket.
Actually, that'd be cool.
Pocket for someone's phone, so you can't see it. It's vibration proof. You just put it in there and you pick up the paper. What's going on?
You have to make sure everything's clean because toilets are gonna be like. I think if it's a public bathroom,
I don't know.
I don't know if I would want to even touch anything.
Touch a newspaper that gets changed
on.
Every other day. People don't just pee on newspapers. Do you pee on newspapers? Bro, if you go into a bathroom,
public bathroom, bro, anything can happen.
Anything can happen. Those Walmart bathrooms do get a little scary.
Yeah.
What do you think of McDonald's bathrooms, dog? I think they're beautiful. I have a great time in every McDonald's bathroom.
I haven't been to a McDonald's bathroom in years.
There's no way, really?
Yeah, I mean, the last time I went to McDonald's. It was maybe like a year ago or something like that, but I think about that. I don't go very often. So.
Yeah, I understand. I don't do it anymore because I was realizing the fault of my actions, but I was having a lot of McDonald's fries. That was like my guilty pleasure that I told no one about. I was super big on McDonald's fries when I was back in Maryland, and I'd use the bathroom every once in a while, and and dude, they're sparkly.
Your safe place?
Or at least mine. They're what?
It was your safe place?
It was my safe place. Yeah. I just grabbed my newspaper. No. You asked me the question, when was the last time I saw someone reading a newspaper? My dad brings them home. I don't even know where he gets them, but he brings them home. So maybe I should ask him that.
Your home is like in a pretty secluded place, right?
Yeah, it's pretty rural. It's like woods and farmland combined.
I'm guessing you don't have in where my house is, there's like a van that goes around and like drops off newspapers in the morning. I don't know if that's the same place for.
I doubt it. So the Frederick News Post is the main newspaper in my area, and I can't imagine them going out to where I live because I live in Woodsboro. It's just a little bit out. I guess there's something called the Woodsboro Times, but I haven't heard much about it. It's too small. Like my town is just 2,000 people. I think there's literally more cows in it than humans, and so. Yeah, I don't know about the delivery thing, and even then, it's really expensive to get that kind of delivery, from what I've heard at least. Maybe I can do some more research and get a newspaper delivery of my own, but I don't know.
Maybe he's getting them from a grocery store or something.
Yeah, I mean he's a big convenience store. There's this really nice convenience store. It's an East Coast thing mostly, called Sheetz, SHEETZ. Are they down in Texas where you live? Yeah, but anyway, he likes Sheetz a lot, and he probably gets them from there. But
that makes sense.
Yeah, how would you incentivize someone to listen to radio? How'd that even work?
Listen to radio?
Yeah.
I mean, I listen to the radio when I'm in the car. Sometimes depends if I want to listen to music or the radio. But I don't know. That's interesting because. I think podcasts are a big thing. It's close to radio in the sense that it's like two people talking. Some
would say that there's no difference.
I mean, other than how they're distributed.
Yeah.
But
yeah. You can just take the same radio show and put it on YouTube and audio video form, and it's a podcast.
Yeah, but if you want that depends. Do you want people listening to on radio waves in their car? I don't know how you can
Well, that's how you keep it local. That's the only way to keep it local. If you like, I put this podcast on YouTube when I can upload it. I just learned how to make the file size not 40 gigabytes yesterday, so that those will be coming on soon for everyone.
Is that like
waiting.
compressing or something? Or I don't know how that works.
Is what depressing putting on YouTube?
No, compressing. Like
Compressing. It was just I was exporting it in the wrong file type. I was exporting it in like a linear file from what Darren explained to me, which means like that's how computers did it like back in the day when they weren't as powerful. So it's literally just the computer does no work. It's just, all right, here's all the waves or however it goes. I don't know. I'm no expert in how data works like on flash drives and hard drives, but that's essentially what was going on. So I just had to compress it. That was the whole problem.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, man. But like, yeah, I uploaded show number 6 like maybe a week ago, and this must be 13 or 14. I'm not sure. So it's obviously something that I got to get to, but I'm not stressing on it too much. I got a lot of math homework to do.
What math are you in?
Introductory to statistics, and to me that is advanced turbo genius statistics because I have absolutely no background in that.
Yeah, it's fine. Like I freshman year, I think it was first semester or second semester, I took calculus. And I'm not a math person. I only took it because my brother peer pressured me.
What?
My older brother Ziad, do you know him?
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Jack.
he peer pressured me into taking calculus because he was like, yeah, if you're not taking calculus, there's no point in taking any math. I was like, oh, okay, fine.
Really?
Yeah. So me.
Do you think that's true?
I mean, he was a math major and I think physics major. I don't know.
Maybe a biased source of information.
Yeah, very biased, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, you care about what your siblings think about you. I guess I care.
Yeah, I'm an older sibling, so I don't think I get that effect in the same way. But yeah, what is it like being a younger sibling? I actually didn't know that was something that's normal. Maybe.
I mean, I don't know. I think I have a pretty good relationship with my family. If you have like a less good relationship, you would just be more aloof. But I think if you have a good relationship with your family, you care about what they think more.
Yeah,
right?
Maybe.
Like, do you have a younger?
Yeah, I have a younger sister.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's 16, I think. I think, dude, I don't know. Maybe she's 17 now. Not sure. But no, I mean, we have a good relationship, but it's pretty like on the same level. When we were younger, it was a different thing because I was just like a bigger person, and I know she was sometimes intimidated by me. And like I remember when I was younger, I just like couldn't control myself sometimes, and I would hit her every once in a while. And then I learned like obviously at a very young age that wasn't okay. But so we started off in like a rocky point, but we're fine now. I mean, like we talk pretty, like I FaceTimed her the other day just to, like catch up, see how she's doing, because both of us are having a tough time out in the Midwest. She's actually still back in Maryland because she got like contact traced when she was over at spring break, and so she gets to keep some more time over there. But
cool.
Yeah, we're just kind of in the same situation right now, so we have some stuff to relate on.
I think that's a very normal progression from childhood to adulthood. At least as siblings, like most families. Like I know I fought with my siblings a lot when I was little. But
did you fight with your sister?
Yeah.
Really? You're a twin,
I mean,
right?
maybe less so than my older brothers,
Mm-hmm.
because we always had like the twin card, like I know what you're thinking, or like that kind of shit.
Do you think there's any like obviously there's no telepathy going on, but is there some truth to that?
Sometimes, sometimes like I'll know, like, okay, I know what you're thinking, or I know what your intentions are, but maybe that's just because we're siblings and less because we're twins. But yeah, I don't think no telepathy going on.
No telepathy, you sure?
Maybe.
Is that not how the league team communicates?
No. We have our second game for our tournament coming up this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's exciting.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
What's your guys' thing that you need to you feel like you need to improve on the most? Because like the Valorant team's all like I'm on the Valorant team, he's in the league team. But we're always worried about like communication, obviously aim, but like the basic communication is always difficult.
Aim isn't really a problem with us, although using hands is, I guess, the same problem for both games. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, definitely communication. Communication's a big thing that we're trying to work on, and I definitely need to. I mean, everyone has their own things, so yeah, it's just like the first game last weekend, and we were against a team that was not as good as us, but it was still like sometimes it seemed like it was close, and it shouldn't have been. So like this next team is gonna be harder, so we just need to like, I don't know, get our game.
What are the ranks that you're seeing in these tournament style like college games?
Well, Bailey made this tournament
Single-handedly?
Yeah, he like got all the teams together.
Wow.
I don't know if there was like a limit to how good the teams were, but I think they're either like close to our range, rank wise, or maybe a little higher.
Do you not scout them out beforehand? Like you don't watch their tapes?
I mean, we haven't. Maybe they do. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what's regular. I've never played League in an esport fashion.
I mean, I'm sure at like very high level they'll do that, but
yeah. We're Valorant team's going into a tournament on I think April 16th, and so that's what we're preparing for. And I think it's going to be around gold level because that's around where we are. We're around all gold. I mean, I would say Luke and Lucas are like they can hit plat if they just grinded ranked.
Who organized it?
I think it's just one that Luke found that's connected by Discord.
Oh, okay.
And so it was kind of our best bet since Valorant's a really new game, and it's not like there's an organized college level situation going on. I mean, like Riot's even just still developing the competitive scene and like figuring out how they're going to do it. Yeah. Also, like the game came out during COVID. Like it hasn't. It's not even a year old, I don't think. Yeah.
And the player base is still growing, I think.
It's still growing. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, it's funny. I just made a new account just so I could like grind ranked without worrying about just losing rank on my main account. So that because we all want to play together, and if there's too much of like a rank disparity, we can't. So I just don't want that going on. But anyway, so I asked like, hey, who's new here? And almost every game I'm getting someone that's saying like, yeah, I'm new, and like in the unranked setting, like that's kind of normal, but it's more than it felt like with League when I was making a new account.
That reminds me a lot of when I was playing CS:GO, when that was big.
When was it big?
When I was in high school, and I guess in middle school. But when CS:GO came out, it was like one of that and League were like the only games I played, and I played a lot of CS:GO, and there were so many people I knew that played CS:GO, and
that's why you're good at Valorant.
And the competitive scene was really big too. But yeah, that was CS:GO is a dangerous game.
You think so?
Not because of the game specifically, but because of the skins.
Expensive.
And
Valorant's getting the same way.
No, but it's not only that it's expensive. It's and this is with a lot of games, I guess. It's like microtransactions. But with CS:GO, they're like, okay, you're a kid, and here is a dopamine treasure, and now go gamble, and then, oh wait, you just spent so much fucking money.
Yeah. Isn't it interesting, like how how there's very little being done about like kids and in relationship with like dopamine. Like we're throwing. I'm actually really worried about upcoming generations that are being that are coming up like from essentially birth, like at a very, very young age, maybe in between the ages of like 7 and 10, getting on social media or getting a phone and being able to watch YouTube with extremely bright colors and loud sounds.
Yeah, that's I don't know. I don't think like it's necessarily like a terrible thing, but I think you can be like desensitized to things and you would want to be careful, but obviously we'll see how it turns out, and if it ends up being like a completely like horrific thing, then action will be taken. But
Well, I don't know. That's the thing. I think it's already there, because people are a lot less incentivized to talk face to face these days. I mean, like, even when I'm sitting in a room with my friends, like, frequently I'll be the only one out on my phone. I mean, that's because I don't have social media. Like, I don't really have anything to go to. But yeah, I see parts of society that I think are necessary to be well functioning are going away because of our relationship with this like international media source.
I agree. There is like benefits to social media in the sense that like you want to see how people are doing that you can't like talk to face to face. Like sure, like writing letters or emails.
I agree. That's how
it
it started out. That's how it was supposed to be at the beginning.
But there is definitely a lack of face to face talking. Like people like only talking over Snapchat or texting, and then they can't communicate face to face.
Yeah.
And there's such a difference between texting someone and talking to them. Like you can't communicate everything, even if you're using emojis or like emphasis, or
you can get close. You can really get close, but
even with like voice messages, like it's
like
talking to someone face to face, it's a completely different thing. And like even us talking right now, the fact that I can't see your mouth and all the movement in your face is like, I mean, I'm not like trying to analyze your face or anything right now, but
that's how people work.
But maybe subconsciously, like, I don't know, it's like you're hidden.
Well, the way I've been thinking about it is like we just subtracted like 1 million years of like social evolution during this 1 year. Not saying it'll never come back, but like we don't have facial expressions to go on. For example, in regular communication anymore, and so I'm having a hard time deciphering whether or not, because a lot of my radio show is like social commentary, like what's going on, how can we make it better, and so like I'm having a hard time differentiating what things are because of COVID, like what things that are bad in society are because of COVID, people just like not wanting to be as social, or if it's actually just a progression of what's been going on for a long time, the development of social media in the past 10 years. And among other things, but that's obviously a big one.
I mean, like a lot of people, whenever COVID started, like the whole quarantine thing, people were stressed about it, but they realized that it didn't really affect their life that much. Yeah. Like they were just doing the same things that they would have done anyways. Maybe like you can't go out and do some things, but.
Well, I know there was a lot of businesses that got really, really, really rammed. Back where I'm from, there was a lot
everywhere.
That just
that
just won't come back. They just there's no way they can come back, because restaurants don't exactly work on the same level as like as corporations.
Unless they're backed by like big money.
It's rare.
Or like cartel or I don't know, something.
Do you think restaurants are frequently backed by cartel?
Sure. Why not?
I've never heard that phrase before.
No, like I'm sure there's a lot of restaurants there that are backed by drug money.
Is that how you feel in Texas? Do you see a lot of?
Maybe, I don't know. I'm not like going to a Mexican restaurant. I'm like, yeah, this is drug.
This is definitely a drug money restaurant.
No, but like I think if there's a global pandemic and your restaurant is still up, even with like minimum customers, there's something backing you, whether it's a giant amount of savings or something illegal.
Well, it's rare like that. I think restaurants have a lot of savings to work with, especially local ones. I mean, what Chinese restaurant have you walked into recently have been like, yeah, these guys, they don't need to work for a couple months. They don't need any income.
I don't think I could go to any restaurant and think that.
Yeah. I was thinking Chinese because that's like the most widespread example of like a commonly used local restaurant. But yeah, man, there's just not too many savings in that industry.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, it's really hard. I don't know. I don't know what to do, man. But we'll get through it soon. Vaccine's coming out. Did you get it?
No, did you?
No, but I'm trying to get it fairly soon. Last weekend wasn't going to work for me.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what time will work for me. I think I was gonna go with like Ethan or something. I don't know. I forgot who I talked to about that. I remember talking to someone about that.
Yeah, well, if you're going in a car with someone and there's empty seats, let me know about that.
Yeah.
Because I want to get that out of the way as soon as possible because, dude, if I have someone in my radio studio and both of us are vaccinated, ooh, I don't know.
That's exciting.
I might feel a little crazy.
Yeah.
Might even take off my mask.
No, don't say that. Don't say that.
Might get a little crazy. What would you like? What would you do if you were a kid? Like future you came to you. Let's say that was a normal thing. Let's say that wasn't the most traumatic part of the experience.
Do you mean like me going back in time and meeting myself as
Exactly. Let's say the back in time was less important. Let's say everyone had someone come from the future to talk to them.
So it was like a normal thing.
That was like a normal thing. But anyway, like what? How do you think your young self would react if you're like, yeah, we just have like a whole year where we're just kind of wearing masks, like that's what we're doing. There's very little social interaction. The majority of the ways
it would sound like something out of a movie.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I've been thinking. I had a dream about that last night.
No, so I watched I was watching I Am Legend recently.
Sure.
A great movie, but like, so in I Am Legend, there's like a pandemic going around because of like they made like a vaccine to cure cancer or something.
Mm-hmm.
And the
It
movie
did cure
like
cancer. It did it.
but it also turned people into
Vampires.
Weird vampire zombie things.
Mm-hmm.
But in the movie, like there's like during like the whole there's like a flashback the main character has, and like during like the whole ramp up of like, oh, shit's going down, there's all these army guys, and it's like zooming in on their masks and making it like oh, these guys are wearing masks. It's like they're crazy, like the N95 masks.
Oh yeah.
And like now it's like, okay, everybody's wearing those. Like it's not even that crazy.
That's a
But
normal
like
thing.
when that movie came out, like maybe you're not in the movie theater thinking like, oh, that's crazy, he's wearing a mask. But like it's supposed to be a weird thing.
Yeah.
But now it's just like, oh, he's wearing a mask.
If you're not wearing a mask, it's weird.
Yeah.
I've been watching a lot of movies recently, and so like last night I watched Rain Man.
Oh yeah, I haven't watched that, but it
Dude.
looks really weird.
So good. So good.
What
dude.
is it about?
So it's like this selfish workaholic. I think that's actually how the movie describes it. The selfish workaholic. His father dies, and so he talks to his dad's lawyer and gets his will read to him, and all he gets from his father is his car and his rose bushes, and then his $3 million estate goes to someone else, a trust fund for someone else. And so he just does some quick investigation, not a very large part of the movie, and finds out that it's his autistic older brother that he never knew he had,
Mm-hmm.
who was a savant. And so like if you just told him like 375 times 526, he'd be like give you the answer immediately. And like he knows every number of every baseball game ever, and like he knows Wheel of Fortune and all this crazy stuff. And so he found out that these are abilities that might be able to help him eventually. And he also like he kidnapped him from the institution that he was.
So this is like completely
in.
selfish.
And so it was.
Okay.
So at the beginning of the movie, it was completely selfish, but slowly you kind of see. I'm not going to give any spoilers past like the first 30 or 40 minutes, but like there's a relationship starts to form, although it's not the kind of social relationship you'd regularly see between brothers, because there's like it's extremely one-sided, but like at the same time, maybe it's not. So
Is he like a half brother or?
he's a full brother.
Oh, full brother,
complete
okay.
full brother.
He just never knew he had.
Never know.
Wow, that's crazy.
Well, because he didn't talk to his dad after he ran away from home.
Oh, okay,
there's a big part of his life
Yeah.
where his dad just wasn't involved, and so great movie, just fantastic storytelling. I'd recommend it to anyone. But anyway, in that movie, there's a scene in Vegas, and there's a lot of people there without masks, and like every time I see like a Vegas scene in a movie, I'm like, oh god, none of them are wearing masks.
Yeah,
They're all rebels. They're all from Florida.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like in right now, currently, I've been watching this guy. And if you want to know who I'm watching on YouTube, there's this guy that plays a lot of poker on YouTube. and he goes to Vegas often, and there's like it's buzzing right now, bro.
Really?
There's so many people in Vegas. Like you would think, oh, a pandemic. No, there's not a lot of people, but like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy.
I
I mean,
bet-
people are wearing masks, but
How much is that?
what do you mean?
How much is that really helping in Vegas quarters?
I mean, like wearing a mask with that many people around in that enclosed quarters is not really gonna.
I
do
just
anything.
can't imagine. I'm
But-
sure it like helps a little bit, but I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. Whatever.
I don't
I'm not
know.
super worried about getting it. I've never been super worried about getting it. I'm pretty healthy, fairly athletic. I eat healthy. I take my vitamin D. I do what I can. And I feel like that is, I don't know. Do you think they did restrictions for COVID backwards? Do you think that instead we should have just quarantined the people that wouldn't have been okay once we found out this wasn't like a thing that was going to kill like 30% of the population?
I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to know. I mean, yeah, you could say that, but then like, if you're only quarantining the people that can't do anything, then like, it's hard because right now what happened is they shut down everything and they moved everything to online and everybody's on the same level. But if you quarantine only the people that can't, you're gonna have to like do more like small scale restructuring. Like,
What do you mean?
I mean, like, maybe it's easier. I don't know. Maybe they should have done that.
Well, I think it would at least have kept the economy running a little better. Like there would be a lot less variability and a lot of things, including the stock market, which is just good for everyone. Yeah. And like it would let a lot of local restaurants, like instead of just not letting people eat at the local restaurants, like, you know, maybe that's their choice. Yeah, you feel me?
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's hard to know.
Because the whole thing was like, we don't want the people who can't get who just can't get the virus. We don't want them to get it, right?
Mhm.
But I feel like there must have been a better way, like incentivize being healthy. I've heard this on 3 separate podcasts with separate audiences. Like, why didn't we just incentivize being healthy and making sure we're taking the vitamins to do so? It's not expensive to get like the basic, I guess, the basic things required to be healthy. I mean, you don't have to go to Whole Foods, but you know, you can get everything you need at Walmart.
There's some places that it's because you're living on like such a paycheck to paycheck wage.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to be healthy. Like
Mhm.
would you rather pay, like, I don't know how much the difference is, but like, would you rather go get fast food, which is way cheaper than making a meal or like buying like fresh ingredients from the grocery store?
Mm.
Or would you rather spend that extra money to be healthy?
Well, it's more expensive, definitely, to get fast food still. It's
You
just
think so?
yeah, it is, 100%.
Than getting fresh. I mean, okay,
Yeah.
well, maybe it depends where in the U.S. because
Well, you can buy a whole chicken, which can feed a family for $7, like a rotisserie chicken.
Okay,
So
what
like-
about like fresh fruit and vegetables? Like, is that cheaper?
It's not very expensive to get like a couple tomatoes and some greens. Spinach is fantastic. That's a little more expensive, but the nutrients that you get will absolutely aid your day more than eating fast food. Because if you just eat fast food, you're going to be suffering from a lot of inflammation. You're going to have less
I agree.
energy overall.
I mean,
and
I
so
agree.
it's just like a worse decision. And maybe that's an education issue. I'm not sure.
It may be a little bit of both, but I think there's some places where access to that is much harder.
Like
to-
what? Like where do you
Like I
see?
was seeing some things about they're called food deserts,
Hmm.
where it's just much harder,
In America? Or okay.
where it's much harder to get access to healthy food. So people are stuck eating fast food or things that you wouldn't necessarily see as healthy.
Yeah, I've seen that kind of thing pretty often, like in places like Pennsylvania, north of where I live, like the rural part of it, and some parts of West Virginia when I've been in there. Yeah, it's weird, for sure. I'm sure I could be more sympathetic, but in the vast majority of cases, you can do what you need to do to be healthy, even if you have a very low wage. And I think that making like the minimum wage being $15, I think that would absolutely help the situation. But we're not there yet, and even then, I think people can afford healthy eating if they know how to do it. Like there's a ton of YouTube videos that are just like feed family of 6 for $6, and it's like this super healthy soup, and I'm like,
crazy.
I mean, you can do it. Yeah, man. How are you eating? Do you care about that a lot?
I mean, when I go to the dinner or lunch line, I try to not only eat carbs because that is not good, but sometimes the options are like literally only carbs and whatever.
Yeah, then I got to go to the salad station.
Yeah,
but
I don't go to, like, what is at the salad? I've never been to the salad station.
Yeah, I've been there a couple times. It's actually pretty good. I'm a big fan of spinach, so maybe I'm biased. But
I don't know how you build your own salad. Right?
Yeah, you build your own salad. So the person behind the counter just like asks you what you want. You can put your meat on. You can put your vegetables on, or whatever kind of toppings are available. There's a lot of stuff, dude. You can get like cranberries and ground up eggs and spinach and Jello. Yeah.
Jello?
Yeah, dude. There's Jello.
Wow. I mean, maybe I should try it. I just I didn't know how to make a good salad.
Yeah. I don't know the key to it, but I can tell you a secret afterwards. Yeah. It's gonna be a life hack for sure.
Okay. We can't tell anyone else.
No, because then everyone will know.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, definitely.
I'll tell them on a future podcast, but right now
come back for part 2.
It's it's necessary for it to be secret.
Okay.
Yeah, but salad bar is always an option. It's weird. I've been thinking about going into ketosis.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, because I want to lose a lot of fat by the end of the summer. I'm trying to get down to 170 pounds, and there's like this little wall that I can't get past. It's the wall of 180 pounds. I'm having a really hard time getting below that because my body just wants to keep just a little bit of fat. Because
what type of foods are you eating? I don't know.
I'm really balanced diet. So I have a fair amount of carbs, fair amount of proteins, B12, like meats. I don't have any diet restrictions, but I haven't been eating any dessert and stuff like that. I try to always, like, the only sugars that I try to ingest are natural sugars. So I'll eat like a fair amount of mangoes and juice if it's mostly natural. Yeah. So like the Tropicana, like things I'm not super about. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I know there's like a lot of exercises that like cardio. Cardio is really good at burning fat.
Super good. I've been doing that. I've been running like I have like a 4 to 6 mile run like 2 or 3 times a week. I had a week where I was doing it like almost every day, but I just wasn't really sustainable.
Yeah, it's hard to go work out, man.
It is. When I have jiu-jitsu back home, that's my very like easy shortcut way to be healthy because I like to do it and it's working out.
You should see if Prin can start doing jiu-jitsu or that type of thing because it's a big sport.
So it's really growing in popularity, which is fantastic. The issue with getting Prin to have some jiu-jitsu is that you need a black belt to teach jiu-jitsu.
And it's hard to find
Well, we have one. We have 2. We have 2 in the area, or on this side of the river. I'm sure there's tons in St. Louis. Not tons, but like I'm sure there's maybe a dozen in St. Louis. But yeah, I mean, we would have to. I just don't see any interest on the college. I've talked to a lot of people.
No, definitely.
I just don't see any interest around here. Even in Lowry, where part of our culture is beefing. There's no interest in learning the actual way to beef. Like freestyle wrestling is only so effective in a combat situation.
It's effective enough in a beef.
It's effective enough in a beef, yeah. But the majority of my grappling technique is now jiu-jitsu based. Like when it used to be wrestling out of college. I mean, out of high school, it's now very jiu-jitsu based, and there's like you can't do anything in freestyle wrestling that you do in jiu-jitsu. Like you can't put okay, if you're clasping your arms below someone, like if you're on top of them in a front headlock position, you're not able to go across their neck.
In jiu-jitsu?
No, in wrestling. No, in jiu-jitsu you can do the majority of things. There's a handful of rules that you can't do, and I actually made some rules for Lowry Jiu-Jitsu if we wanted to do that. And actually, I could probably pull them up. They're just on a note on my phone. We got about 10 minutes left, but
okay.
Yeah. But I went through a phase of like trying to figure out like, okay, how would I advertise jiu-jitsu, because I badly need that in my life now. It's like it's actually become one of the things that like I am really lacking at Prin, and like the fact that I don't have a car is kind of exacerbating that.
You should make a club and see how many people sign up.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to do that. I can't do it during COVID, unfortunately. But the second I'm allowed to, I'm going to try to do that, because there's a lot of people who have experience in wrestling.
Hopefully senior year.
What'd you say?
Hopefully senior year.
Hopefully senior year, yeah. Anyway, so my Lowry Jiu-Jitsu rules, which I guess could extend to Prin Jiu-Jitsu rules, would be no slams, no heel hooks or knee bars, no neck cranks, no wrist locks, no like striking. Like I can't
punching?
Just kick you in the face.
Okay.
Yeah. Keep hands off face, especially eyes, nose, and mouth. Like no. One way to get, if you're trying to choke someone and you have their back, one way
grab their face.
you can get your palm and you can push up on their nose, and that requires them to expose their neck, and you can get your arm in there. But so none of that. So you actually have to hand fight when you're on the back. You're responsible for your opponent's well-being. Be respectful, and then ligament submissions have to finish slow. So
what does that mean to finish slow?
So like when you do an arm bar, for example, do you know what arm bar is, right?
It's, something where their arm is in danger of being hurt.
Exactly. So you're trying to hyperextend the elbow,
Yeah.
Or you have the elbow framed on your hip and you're pulling it. And so what you do is you break their grip so fast, and then when you're going to the point where their arms stretch out, you go slow, and then they tap. And that's hopefully
so
they
you
tap.
don't just break their arm.
So they don't just, yeah, exactly. And there's some freaks that can really hold out arm bars. I was going against this chick back in Maryland, and she just wouldn't tap to arm bars.
Like stretchy joint.
Like I was like pulling her arm at a certain point, and she just wouldn't tap, and like she didn't feel like she was in any danger of me snapping her arm.
Do you think people that have like stretchy joints are like double jointed? They're like gods of jiu-jitsu maybe? I
don't know, because she didn't have hyperextended like elbows. Like they didn't like bend inward very much.
She just had a steel bar.
That's kind of what I feel like, because I've seen a lot of notably Gordon Ryan. He's the best jiu-jitsu person right now, and he doesn't tap to arm bars ever. He was in the tightest arm bar.
Does he get out?
He gets out.
Oh.
So you can get out of an arm bar by getting their feet out from. So when you do an arm bar, you have a foot on your chin. You have a foot on your chin and a foot on the other side of your arm. That's how the other person is trying to submit you.
Okay.
But if you get if you get those feet over your face, then you're not in any trouble. And so you can
just like slip out.
Yeah, so you have to do like a barrel roll kind of thing. There's an escape to it, but frequently you're not going to get the opportunity to do that, and more often than not, you don't want to practice it because you don't want to break your arm. Yeah. But
yeah, jiu-jitsu's crazy, man. Oh my god.
I love it. It's my favorite thing in the world right now.
It's like don't they teach in the military jiu-jitsu?
Yeah. There's a lot of branches that teach it to a very basic level. That's actually how I got started. I had a couple buddies that were in the military, and like I used to wrestle with my friends growing up a little bit. Not a little bit actually. That's like a big thing. And then eventually, like one guy, he was older than the rest of us, but he went to Civil Air Patrol with us. It's the auxiliary of the U.S. Air Force. And yeah, and he learned a little bit of jiu-jitsu, and he taught us, and I just thought it was like, oh, whoa, this is the sickest thing ever. Like,
I mean,
wrestling
it's
isn't like anything. Like, it's just not effective.
yeah, it's like it's how you can just have control of like any situation.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's really sick. And there's also like games you can play within it. Like, you don't just have to full roll until submission. Like there's a drill that I've really wanted to try with people because it's simple. Like, it's rounds that last maybe like 20 seconds
So,
max.
Like, capture the flag, like you.
Capture the flag, jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
No, like sweep, pass, submit. So either you sweep them.
Which means put them on their back or something.
So it means that if you're in a bottom position, you put them in the bottom position.
Oh, okay.
So that's a sweep, or you pass their guard, which means you get past their legs and you get your torso onto their torso, or
Okay.
that's like the most common way to do it. And then submit is obviously like, let's say you don't even have to do any of those steps and you just can like get their back immediately. Like, some people can just do that. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes it's skill, but yeah, so that's just like a simple game. Those rounds would last 15 seconds, and if we eat a club, just like, yeah, we're just doing rounds, sweep, pass, submit, like find a partner, and then like when you finish with them, you find someone else that isn't doing anything, and you go in.
Do you think in MMA, if you only knew how to do jiu-jitsu and you weren't good at like striking or anything, could you just like be the best? Like, or do you need to know mixed martial arts?
You need to know striking.
Okay.
So the best example of this is Ryan Hall, and he's probably my favorite person in the sport. He has a fight in May, which is dope. But anyway, he has a fight in May, and he has a really, really hard time getting fights because he's so good at jiu-jitsu.
People just don't want to fight him.
Yes, exactly. And so he is a taekwondo/karate style, so he throws out a lot of long-range kicks and punches. He is really good technique standing up, but he's not going to knock some out, probably. He's done it a couple times. I think in his he was on The Ultimate Fighter. He won The Ultimate Fighter. But it's not going to be very often. He's more often going to get a heel hook submission because he's a master of 50-50, which is like pretty much our butts are pressed against each other and we're looking at each other's faces, and your leg is in between my leg.
Our butts. Wait. Okay, wait.
I
Our
will
butts
have
are
to
pressed-
physically.
Our butts are pressed up against each other.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
And
So
we're
pretty much.
looking at each other.
Okay. Let's say we were to hug each other.
Okay.
And then let's say I was to lift my leg
Okay.
over your right hip. My right leg over your right hip.
Okay. You're grappling me.
Not yet.
Okay.
And then we get on the ground,
Okay.
and you thread your leg through my leg.
Oh, this is getting steamy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we kiss each other passionately. Oh my
Go
god. That's
on.
what jiu-jitsu sounds like to a lot of people who don't know what I'm talking about.
I think that's exactly what you
Yeah, man. But anyway, so he's a master of that position, but pretty much you can't try to pass his guard because he will destroy you. You can't get close to him because he will destroy you. And
why is he not at the top right now?
because people won't fight him.
But like, you can't just refuse to not.
Yes, you can.
Why?
Because you don't have to. You don't have to
But
fight
you're
him.
just at the top. You're like, I don't want to fight anyone anymore.
Yeah.
Does that not mean people?
Well, he's dangerous. Like, his best way of submission is called a heel hook, and there's a large. It's probably the most dangerous submission to be caught in, because what happens is, like, okay, get your foot, stick it out like this, and turn it this way. And so what he's doing is he's forcing your foot to be
my
turned,
God.
and so it can break your knee, or tear your meniscus, ACL, and then you'll be out of the fight. And so, and obviously he's not going to say, okay, heel hooks aren't allowed, because that's not the UFC's rules. But he is undefeated in the UFC.
But I don't understand why like he can't like force a fight. Like, if you want to move up, they have to agree to fight you.
At the end of the day, you do need to find someone to fight you. And he's beat extremely good names.
Can't he just like declare like, I'm the best? Now you guys have to fight me if you want to.
Well, the majority of the jiu-jitsu community knows he's the best.
I don't know. That seems silly, that seems silly that he can't.
I agree. that's why I love watching his fights, because they're so few and far between. But anyway, man, it's 10:59. We got about 30 seconds. Is there anything that you're working on that you want to plug? Any projects, presentations coming up that you can think of?
Nothing I'm
league
proud
tournament,
of.
right?
Nothing I'm proud of yet. Yeah, league tournament, sure.
League tournament this Saturday. What time?
I don't know.
Okay.
At some point. We might stream it.
But it's not something that you're worried about people watching?
No, I mean, if I just don't know if we're gonna stream it.
Oh, okay.
So like,
Okay.
if there's any point in plugging it, but we'll see.
Sure. All right, George. Well, thanks for being on the show. It's been a good time. And, yeah. Everyone listening, thanks for listening. And find at least one other person to give a big smooch today, or at the very least, tell them they're great.
I already found my person.
Oh, I love you, George. All right, George and I are going to get steamy. I will catch you guys later. Peace, peace. Bye.